something exciting is happening right behind me. We're going to be transforming this entire grow area into a native pollinator oasis, somewhere that all of our native plants can go for Arkansas, and our kids can actually learn more about the benefits of pollinators and how they actually keep our ecosystem alive and well, not to mention give us our food that we actually eat. So again, the plan is to do native plants throughout here. This building that we're seeing is the Judges building. So they actually have given us this area to the Master Gardeners, and I officially am a Master Gardener with a year under my belt. And some of our Master Gardener officers decided that we need to allow the kids to do some gardening. And that's something that's a part of my job and something that I love as well. So on this side, the Master Gardeners plan to do something different. Right in the center of this area, there used to be some huge magnolia trees. They were cut down this past early summer. So like those oak leaf hydrangeas have to be moved that are behind that bench because it's now full sun. And then, for example, like over in here, this is all full sun now. So they're really gonna have to do some different ideas and plants because they did have shady plants before. So again, this whole area right here is going to be planted with my kids and I'm super excited because we really need more natives around the town I work in, including the town I live in. We don't have as many, but it is becoming popular and people are starting to sell more and more. So for anyone curious, when you do start a new garden, something that I always suggest is you're going to want to know what your sun situation is like. For example, we have a building right here. This building is going to block a lot of our morning sun, and I'll actually show you in our sun calculator the website you can go to and simply type in your address, the year, date, and time of when you want to see what the sun looks like, and even the time. You can scroll it and see, is it going to get full sun? Is it going to get half sun? Is it going to be all shady? Because that's going to affect what we choose to put in this area. So I can't put super sunny, loving plants in here maybe because it might be super shady in the morning. So we need to think about those things. And the next steps are going to be to plan what we're putting in here. So I'm going to give the kids an option, but I'm actually going to draw out a couple options and include those so you all can see what the plans are like. So again, I need to think about, okay, the sun, and then how much location do I actually have to work with, because we don't want to overfill it. We want these plants to grow in. They're going to drop seeds throughout every year, so we want to make sure that we're not overcrowding our plants. We also need to think about northwest, south, and east, and I really encourage you to just look at your yard and figure out what it's doing throughout the morning, afternoon, and evening. Okay, so what I've done is made the cardinal directions. This is my 10-foot by 40-foot area. I put my key, which means one square, one of these blocks is 1 foot. So you can do this however you'd like, but this worked out for me. If it were longer than 50, 60 feet, I don't have enough squares on here to represent just 1 foot, so I would have to convert. So what I'll do is I'm starting at the edge and I'll go 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 for my 10 foot. And then 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. So then we've got 40. I'll go ahead and connect the other side. If you have a ruler, this would be a lot straighter, but I'm not too worried about it because I am drawing on the line. And there we have it. So I know this way is north and this way is south. So now that I've got this, there's a couple of things that I wrote some notes about. So I know that on either side of this, there is a building. So the morning sun is going to be blocked by that, so there's no morning sun. On Google Maps, I can actually see there is full sun midday when the sun is in the middle of the sky during summer months. So we've got some midday sun,
But then afternoon, we've got a building over here that blocks the western sunset. So it's really going to be a very short window for our sun-loving plants. So we need to be strategic when we actually choose what we're going to put in here.
What I'll do is I'll just type into Google Heuchera americana sun requirements, and then I'll look through the different lists and different websites that we've got and see what other people are saying, what scientists have said, especially extension service websites. That's an amazing resource. There's one from North Carolina that's popped up right here. This is going to say it's shade to part sun, and so it gives you some more information. That's what I plan to do after I pick out from beauty and looks and sun shade requirements, just general. I will go onto those websites, like I said, figure out my list, and then I'll go into a deeper dive. And in this deeper dive, I'll then figure out, okay, is it going to get scraggly? Because a lot of plants, if they don't get enough sun, even though they can tolerate some shade, they might get super leggy. The flowers that bloom aren't going to be as good as they could be, or like as full. So those are just some things to consider when you're researching. Another note about this garden plan. We're going to make a decision soon whether we want to start all of these from seed, or do we want to do a mixture of seed and plugs? Do we want to only do plugs? Do we want to try to get large plants? And so that's a conversation I'll have to have with the Master Gardener group that I'm in, because we do have funding, but I would like to be able to donate some of my own native seeds and potentially trade with other people, or just simply get some inexpensive seeds, or maybe plugs if that's the route we go. And that's also something that you can decide for your budget, what you're willing to do, the space that you have. Are you even able to start these seeds? Do you even want to fool with that? So just think about those things. And then you can also, in the process of doing your deeper dive, you can then see, okay, how much are a seed packets going to cost me? Or how much are the plugs going to cost? So you can do that as well. So after I've drawn out a garden plan, what I like to do is go to my seed binders. This is the way that I store my seeds, in little tiny envelopes, and they fit inside of these plastic sheet protectors. So what I like to do is I'll go in here, I'll look at my flowers, my veggies, and my herbs, and see what, number one, the season of the year that I'm going to plant these in. And then number two, the spots, the garden plan that I just said I did, and how they're all going to work together. So that's just something to think about. And then I can also start to order my seeds. It's currently December. You're probably getting December seed catalogs for 2026. We probably think, oh, it's a little early. Nope, no, it is not too early, my friend, especially thinking about how long it takes to ship some seeds, especially if you're going to buy bulbs, iris rhizomes, any type of corm. Some of those come at certain times of the year. So if you're thinking about ordering, I definitely encourage you to go ahead and check. They do have a lot of Black Friday deals still going on. A lot of Christmas deals are going on as well. So just check those out. So now that my garden plan is ready, I've got some options, either plugs or seeds that I can start. I'm going to go ahead and start those seeds that I have, or the ones that I can go ahead and order. So for example, I've got some columbine that's native. It's the red columbine variety. I'm going to go ahead and start some of it. And there's a couple different options. If you're like me and you do have a greenhouse and you actually have it warmer, I don't have mine warmer, so I can't really do a lot of seeds out here unless they're cold hardy. Columbine is one of those that's cold hardy. The Gardener's Workshop, Lisa, seriously amazing. She does some amazing book education out there. She's got several books on cool flowers. What does that mean, and how can you get those out sooner? So Columbine is one of those. So there's a couple different options. If you're like me, you can do the greenhouse option. You can also do a mini greenhouse option. These are super fun. Get you a milk jug, either a half a gallon or a whole gallon. These are actually cider jugs. They're not even milk. You can do this option and leave them out. You can either tape them down. I like to give them a little airflow since they are in my greenhouse and this isn't a very aerated area. And if you're like me and you do have an attic or maybe a basement, a spare bedroom, just a shelf in your home, you're welcome to start as many seeds as you'd like, especially for your zone and your last frost. So my last frost is about the end of March. I like to say my birthday, April 1st, just to be safe. Sometimes it's actually later than that, around Good Friday is what traditional folks in the Mid-South say, but we're gonna err on the side of living life on the edge. Overall, I love being able to create a new garden. And if you have any tips or tricks that you use when you create a new garden, I'd love to hear from you. Maybe other people can get ideas from you in the comments. But overall, this is what I'm working with. I've got about 10 different types of native plants I'm gonna try to track down, and I'm super excited. These are the varieties I'm going for: Eastern Red Columbine, Penstemon digitalis, Heuchera americana, Spigelia marylandica. Don't come for me for this pronunciation, okay? Mertensia virginica, Iris cristata, Phlox divaricata, Blaphilia ciliata, Silene caroliniana, Silene virginica. And this is your reminder, it actually is not too soon to go ahead and start your seeds. It's the day after Christmas that I'm filming this video and likely going to be sharing it. And most of our zone friends, you can go ahead and start some different seeds. There are always some seeds that we can be starting, especially if you've got that garden itch. Thanks for joining along. As always, it's happy to be here and I love sharing my garden with y'all. I'd love to hear from you in the comments. Like and subscribe if you want to stick around and see more videos.